This is a reading from C.S. Lewis, The Four Loves. We have the view which St. Francis expressed by calling his body brother ass. All three may be, I'm not so sure, defensible, but give me St. Francis for my money. Ass is exquisitely right, because no one in his senses can either revere or hate a donkey. It is useful, sturdy, lazy, obstinate, patient, lovable, and infuriating beast, deserving now the stick and now a carrot, both pathetically and absurdly beautiful, and so the body. So I had this experience when I was running. It was like a very easy 5K park run race. I wasn't trying to run it that fast. In fact, I ran it extremely slow, like what I'd run an easy run at, like a 9-minute mile. And I was running, it was just beautiful. I was enjoying nature, enjoying my body. And at this time, I had kind of been scrupulous about, my body, exercise. If it's vain, what is my motivation for doing it? And as I was running, I just reminded myself, I was like, I am my body. Like, my mind and my body are one. The soul is the body, that we are our bodies. And I was reminding myself that. And it made me appreciate exercise and what that can do for us so much more. And kind of wiped me out of this view of exercise as just having to be so careful with it, that why would I exercise when I could pray or something like that. But reminding myself that we are our bodies. And I really like this quote from St. Francis, or this idea of thinking of your body as a donkey, as brother ass. And this C.S. Lewis, no one's going to hate a donkey, but no one's also going to revere a donkey. And sometimes you have to treat it really well, rest it, recover it, eat good foods, and sometimes you have to discipline it through mortifications of the flesh. That's where exercise comes in. So I don't normally check the comments or the views on YouTube. I try not to. Again, I know this is a really small channel, but I don't want to get in that habit of constantly watching views, numbers, analytics, comments. However, I did see the last video I made on Looksmaxxing got 440 views as of now, which is the most anything's gotten on this channel, and I was really excited by it. So thank you for everyone who watched and supported that. And also I read the comments. There were some interesting comments. Some of them were kind of weird, to be honest. I don't understand, but some of them made some fair points about how treating our bodies well is good, and we are called to do that as Christians, and trying to look good, exercise, health, all that. And I agree with that. I definitely think the video might have came off as a little too you should be walking around looking like a slob, never lift weights. That's not how I view it. So I thought it would be good to make another video on it, Looksmaxxing Part 2. And to help illustrate how I think as Christians, again, this is how I think, what I've learned in my life, the style of these videos. This isn't necessarily church dogma, Catholic church dogma, or anything like that, but what I've learned. Now, to illustrate how we should view the body, view exercise, view Looksmaxxing, view all this, it really helps to understand, at least from a Christian view, how we are called to view our flesh, to view our skin, our bones, to view our bodies. Everyone knows we have this mind, I guess we have a soul too, which is different than the neurons in our brain, and then our mind does the thinking, our soul does the praying, our body does the walking. There's a lot of stuff going on, right? And in understanding this relationship, we'll just call it the physical and the non-physical, because we all know that we have something you can knock on, and something in here or in here, a soul, a mind, a spirit, that you can't touch, but it's there. We'll just call it mind and body for now. In understanding how we view these two different things, it kind of helps and illuminates these questions on Looksmaxxing, exercise, fitness, vanity, and whatnot. So let's get into it. So there's this one view on the mind and the body called Cartesian dualism, which was an old philosophy. This guy was actually Catholic, René Descartes. I can never say his name wrong, but he had this idea of dualism where the mind and the body, they're not just two sides of the same coin, which is more so the Christian view we'll get into later. It's two coins, each with one side. So the seat of your identity, who you are, is your mind, is that which is not physical. And all that is physical, it's completely different. Like, yes, you're associated with it, but it's not, doesn't have anything to do with your identity. We can't really be sure it's real because we can doubt everything except that we think. It gets pretty loopy pretty quick, this Cartesian dualism. But just understand now, I think that is kind of what we need to know for our topic of, it's not one coin with two sides. It's not one person with a mind and the body. It's like two coins, each with one side. Like, you are your mind and your body's kind of along for the ride, but they're different. They're different substances, different kinds of substances. It gets very philosophical and very confusing. I'm kind of confusing myself talking about it so much already. But Cartesian dualism, they're separate, they're different things. Now, if we take this, I guess, into another like kind of Christian view, Gnosticism, which is a heretical sect of Christianity. I don't know too much about it. I know some about how they view creation as completely different creation story. Like the world, not everything was good. It was created like kind of out of evil. I don't understand it too well. That might be slightly wrong, pardon me. But I do know that they're anti-body. The Gnostic view is that the material, the created world is all, it's like an illusion, it's chaining us down, and it's bad. But as Christians, as Catholics, we read in the book of Genesis, God created everything, and it was good. Everything material, everything physical, it's part of God's creation, including, and one could say namely, our bodies. God created us, our flesh too, and that is good. And conversely to this is this idea, again, of Gnosticism, where it's like our soul is in a flesh suit, and we have to, just beat it down, rebel against it. Like, we'll be glorified when we can rip off this suit of flesh and bones and, experience life without our bodies. And all the flesh is bad. And the teaching is about, rejecting and moving away from that. Contrasting this with the Catholic Christian view, we are our bodies. That's kind of the simple way to understand it. There's a lot written on this. John Paul II wrote some whole papal document, The Theology of the Body. I have not read that. I'm planning to read it. But this Christian view of the body, it's called hylomorphism, where it's not like we're an ant in some like massive suit that we're operating, or like our soul is like stuck in our body. Hylomorphism is the soul and the body are one. Can't separate them. We are our bodies. Like, that's it, flat out. God created everything and it was good. He made us. We are our bodies. And at the end of time, in the final resurrection, the Christian teaching goes, we will rise again in our bodies. Christ rose from the dead with his body. Mary is assumed into heaven with her body. It is not a negation of the flesh. It is not a negation of the body. And we can find glory and glorify God through our bodies, as Christ and as Mary did, and as hopefully what happens at the end of time with the resurrection of the bodies and the living from the dead. Excuse me, and yeah, whatever. I misspoke at the end. I'm tired. But, okay, so those are the different views. Again, dualism, mind-body different, an extension of that. Gnosticism, where, all the flesh is bad and we're just in like a suit of flesh. The Christian view, we are our bodies. So, where does that take us with exercise, Looksmaxxing, and all that? Well, duh. Like, yes, you shouldn't go out of the house looking like a slob. God made your body, God made it, and it is good. We are stewards. We're stewards of our bodies. We are called to take care of them. They're good, and there is such good to be found in that. I talk about that a lot on this channel, of the spiritual benefits of working out and exercise and running, jiu-jitsu, sticking to a diet, disciplining your body. You learn to discipline, other parts or other temperaments, your inclination for any types of sin, lust, power, greed, gossip, whatever it may be. That feeling, that sensation in the gym of when you're doing a set of leg extensions and you want to quit. Your body's crying out to quit, but you don't quit. You're mortifying your flesh. It's very similar, eerily similar, one might even add, to denying a temptation to masturbate, to watch porn, to doom scroll, something even lighter, like not as big a deal as porn. It's still not great, but we won't get into that. It's similar, this idea, this mortifying and denying the flesh. So we get spiritual benefits of exercise, of this mortification. But beyond that, in viewing our bodies as from God, we're called to take care of them. And so that's where this view of Looksmaxxing comes in. How much should we worry about how we look? Now, if you in the part 1 video about Looksmaxxing, I explained this hierarchy. I have a fidget cross, which I really like. Just dropped it. It's pretty nice. In the first video I made on Looksmaxxing, I explained this hierarchy of good, where the soul, our physical capabilities and our physical appearance, all are good, and we should train and work on all. But the soul is more important than the flesh. So if something of the flesh, if putting on makeup, wearing steroids compromises our soul, that's when it's bad. But if it doesn't, and if it builds up the soul, then it's fine, then it's good. And we should treat it as such. So there's another quote I want to read here, from a book about St. Francis by St. Bonaventure. Francis taught the brothers zealously to shun sloth as the sink of all evil thoughts, showing by his example that the rebellious and idle body must be subdued by unceasing discipline and profitable toil. Wherefore he would call his body brother ass, as though it were meant to be loaded with toilsome burdens, beaten with many stripes, and nourished on mean fare. So this is the view of the body that St. Francis comes up with, treating it like a donkey, treating it like a pet, where you don't want to neglect it, you don't want to starve yourself to death, and you want to, fix your hair before you go out in the day, but it's going to rebel against you, and you need to be firm in how you treat it, and mortify it. So again, Looksmaxxing in particular, yes, there is such benefits to trying to look good, benefits to bodybuilding, to taking care of yourself, and we'll find these benefits of trying to live healthier physically, like diet, exercise, sleep, even taking care of your skin, stuff like that. That is good. That is good, and there are so many benefits from that. Like when you feel healthy, when you feel vital, you have more energy, you have more life. It could literally be easier, as it is for me, to exercise your charity towards others, to go volunteer to soup kitchen, to be extra loving to your mom, to pick up that package for your elderly neighbor. There are so many benefits from this. However, I do feel like what I've noticed in our culture is it is often too far the way of the body. It is often idolizing fitness. It is often, as I've been doing more recently as I'm trying to lose weight, unfortunately, thinking about diet and what you can eat all day. So, you should eat well. Eating well, sleeping well, training, treating yourself with discipline, with the goal of looking good. That's okay. But when it takes over and dominates your spiritual life, and when it begins to compromise the state of your soul, it is no longer good. It is becoming an idol and something that you need to recognize, like, where its importance is in your life. Yes, looking good, having muscle, this is a good. This is a body. The body is good. But the body is not our end goal. Our end goal is union with God. Disciplining our body is part of that, but it is not the end all be all. The soul is more important than the body. But training the body, again, eating well, trying to, be healthy physically, looking appealing to others, can help train our soul. But we must not get it twisted to where working on our bodies so much damages our soul, where we're thinking about diet all the time. People, the Looksmaxxing I'm talking about, my brother explained this to me the other day. They literally like hit themselves or like try to like smash their bones. I don't know what it's called. So like there's hypertrophy because they're like hitting their face with a rock, smashing their jaw. So it hypertrophies and grows back stronger. That is insane. That is crazy. That is taking the body too far. That's not good, that part of Looksmaxxing. Doing your hair in the morning, sleeping well, eating well, trying to build muscle, to present yourself well to others, to be a light to others, to Christ. That is good. That is A-okay. Just don't get it twisted. I hope this video made sense and you didn't get lost along the way. Thank you for watching. God bless.